Welcome to the Sleeping Barber podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of our Barbers Brief. If you're a new listener, I like to use this forum to discuss things that have caught our eye over the last couple weeks. We like to highlight a marketing moment, discuss our ad of the week, and I think I used this term last Barbers Brief. We jibber jabber, and
the old jibber jabber.
We need a little jibber jabber in here, but it's absolutely good. My guy, it's great to see you. How are you?
Good. Physically healing, which is good. I actually started walking almost without a limp after a bike crash a month ago, so things are looking up.
Attaboy.
I went to the gym. It was so pitiful. Did nothing. I just basically walked around the gym.
You walked around the gym?
I tried to sit on a bike and I couldn't do that either.
I'd like to do this exercise. I'd like to do that exercise.
Yeah. Just refamiliarize myself with the gym.
We're laughing right now, but anyways,
yeah.
Happy to hear you're on the mend there, my friend. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what caught your eye in the news over the last couple of weeks?
Right. So CBC News Canadian Broadcasting Corporation had a news story about the YouTube-ification of streaming.
Okay.
Why Netflix is making big deals with YouTubers. So we've seen stuff like this before. I mean, famously, Justin Bieber was discovered on YouTube. And then Jake Paul was one of the YouTubers that crossed over from YouTube celeb to product pitchman and celebrity boxer. And now it's working in the entertainment industry. So Netflix is going after some of the biggest YouTube creators. And part of their thing is that they're able to use it as almost a testing platform, as like a development training. And then they scoop out and pick the ones that have the best content and the best engagement and all that kind of stuff. So as an example, Netflix just recently signed Miss Rachel. She's a children's educator and entertainer with over 11 billion views, 16 million subscribers. They signed a deal to license 4 existing episodes that she's already published on YouTube to Netflix. And then she still gets to upload content monthly. There's another group called Sidemen. So this is a collective of 7 British YouTubers. I took a couple of looks at their thing. It sounds a little bit like Jackass, something a little more.
Oh, no way.
Kind of not quite the same, but
okay.
They do stunts and sketch comedy. And then they were on YouTube for a full first season. Then their second season is now going over to Netflix. One of the things I thought was interesting in the deal that they said, or that they made, is that Sidemen had said that they felt like they had a ceiling on the platform on YouTube. So now they're looking at it as like bigger reach, right? And getting onto this more mainstream platform. Another one was Mr. Beast, which is, I'm sure everybody's heard of Mr. Beast. He's got 418 million subscribers, biggest creator on YouTube. And Amazon Prime reportedly paid $100 million for him to create the Beast games.
It's insane.
Yeah. And so it's really interesting just thinking about the social channel as YouTube as a sort of platform, almost like an American Idol kind of thing, but no longer just for music. It's about for all kinds of entertainment. And a lot of these creators are given more creative freedom, bigger budgets to do the things that they've always done before. So it's kind of interesting seeing this kind of, they call it YouTube-ification in the title, but it's really interesting just seeing this mesh and merger and confluence of all these different platforms and people and how they're kind of producing stuff now.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Netflix to knock on our door now. Like those are sick. Those are close to our numbers, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have just a couple million subscribers to go catch up with Mr. Beast.
There's a few zeros missing in there, but hey, we're on the road. We're on the road. No, that's super interesting, and I'm not surprised. When I never heard of the Sidemen, but obviously Miss Rachel, obviously she's blown up. I know my daughter from time to time, we're okay kind of showing her some of her content. Mr. Beast, I think we've talked to about before, even some, in some marketing moment as well. Like the reach this man has is incredible with his platform. So yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. What do you got?
What I got is Google starting to brief brands on AI mode ads ahead of a Q4 rollout. So this is probably more for the US. We haven't seen anything like that hit the Canadian side yet. But Google is reshaping search. We've not only talked about it, we've talked about it with guests as well on the show, just on, what is the new iteration of search going to look like now with AI mode becoming more and more of a thing where consumers are spending more of their time. There was an internal document that was first reported by Ad Age, which reveals that Google is preparing to scale up ads in AI mode. It's a new conversational search experience, unlike traditional keyword-based ads. So AI mode will place ads based on the entire context of a user's conversation with AI, not just the individual queries. So it becomes kind of like a shift from just like what is a consumer typing in to what are they actually talking about instead.
Mhm.
So it's a big shift from queries to conversation. So this will mean richer, more nuanced targeting, but will also raise big questions like, will people click on ads in AI chat the way they do on traditional search? And if not, will pay-per-click give a way to more of an impression-based pricing? I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, because when you think about, the move to more broader reach tactics and just kind of being less on the personalization side, that may be just the way search goes. Google says that ads will still look familiar, text to product-based formats, and they'll show up for advertisers using Performance Max or AI Max or even search, but they're stressing the importance of feed hygiene, keeping product data fresh so AI placements stay relevant. Now, why this still matters, with over 100 million users already engaging in AI mode and a broader rollout expected before Q4, brands that adapt early could capture high intent moments in this evolving experience. More bots doing more things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's some. I find the search space is Google's still doing great. I think we talked about this last week or something like that, but their search revenue is not going down.
Yeah.
Whether that's because of increased pricing in the bid in the auction or more advertisers flooding to the channel, who knows? But the way that they're managing the AI search results and the integration of all that and the utilization of just other tools like ChatGPT and
Totally.
Gemini and like it's so fascinating, that space. Like
I
how
agree.
people are consuming and finding stuff is very different today than it was 2 years ago. It's so interesting.
I completely agree with you. Completely. What's the next story that you found?
Yeah. So related to the story I had talked about before with Netflix and the YouTube-ification of it, I found a report from Nielsen, which is called the Gauge. And Nielsen does a monthly report on consumer behavior on TV sets.
Okay.
So I also find this just totally fascinating. So time spent on TV for June was just published about 2 weeks ago. So we're recording this at the beginning of August. This came out mid-July. And so streaming of any kind on a television set makes up 46% of the time spent on TV. Cable 23%, broadcast 18%, 12% other. So it's kind of interesting from a point of view of just like how people use a television set. It's no longer just TV. Watching TV doesn't mean just watching TV. It just means TV is the device. Whereas before, I think when we used to say we're watching TV, it was like the pipes to the device.
Totally.
What floored me was that within the streaming portion, YouTube makes up the biggest share. So it's almost 13% of the time people spent watching streaming was done watching YouTube. 0.3% of the time is Netflix, and then it goes down there. It's like a long tail. Yeah. Disney, Prime Video, Roku channel. Roku channel is surprisingly that one. Tubi, Paramount, Peacock, and then there's a Warner Brothers one. So streaming viewership surged again in June. Kids and teens were the main driver of the streaming share shift. I also find this kind of interesting. Viewing minutes per day, it's no longer a GRP. Viewing minutes per day is like a prime metric for a lot of these companies that are the streaming ones. And then with more time spent in front of the TV, I think is an interesting quote from the report. 6 to 17-year-olds were up 27% versus the previous month, so June over May. And a big reason is that they have more time. I think school's coming out and that kind of stuff.
I was just going to say,
spending more time in June watching television. And then it's also interesting that demo, the 6 to 17-year-olds are driving the growth in the other category. And that other category mainly is made up of video game console usage and set-top box usage. So just the way people are consuming TV is so different. Even with like as far as a media like place, it's no longer just the 30-second ad anymore, or 60-second ad. There's so many different types of inventory available on a television set, and so many different places to put it.
I would love to see what what the total annual breakdown looks like, which I feel like it may not be that different, but I love the way the streaming is broken down. So like YouTube is still holding that top spot, Netflix there. Of course, naturally for me, from an advertiser perspective, it's like, okay, what percentage of this is paid versus like just the premium right? Because
Sure.
are you reaching the same consumers? I thought Prime would have been higher than Disney, to be honest with you, but
Yeah.
surprised to see that Prime is number 4 on this list. But
Totally.
again, still shows that, you know, traditional cable still has a place in some of this when you are looking to book the medium, but it is skewed streaming. That almost becomes like your, I don't want to call it an always on strategy, but it's where you absolutely have to be first. And then the rest is complementing that from an additional reach perspective. Super interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, I expect like the ad enabled versions of, say, Netflix and Prime Video, like it's a smaller percentage still.
Yeah. But there's still
Of the
viewership.
total viewership percentage. So there's, I think, broadcast and cable are still, that's, if you do the math on that, it's around 40, the other 40%, 45%.
It's about the other 40.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's not a small audience.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what do you got?
Okay, the last one. I'll be honest, I kind of struggled with this. I'm like,
I wonder if you're going to pick it for your out of the week.
And I decided not to do it for out of the week, and I'm going to instead cover it as a news story. And it all comes down to American Eagle responds to the Great Jeans controversy. And the only reason I'm picking this up as a news story is because they responded to it. I wasn't going to pick it up as something because there's enough people have already talked about it and weighed in on it. But the moment that American Eagle actually issued a response, I mean, that's why I kind of wanted to highlight it. So just quickly, American Eagle is finally responding to that backlash over its most recent fall denim campaign, which was starring Euphoria and White Lotus star Sydney Sweeney, a campaign that sparked a cultural firestorm around race, beauty standards, and marketing intent. So the tagline read, Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Now, was that playful? Was it clever? Was it problematic? The reality is everyone says all of the above, right?
Yeah,
and
totally.
It's like you can't win, you can't lose. Everyone will have an opinion on this. Even the White House weighed in. I don't know if you heard, because I guess Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican. So yes, Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican. And when it was announced and the White House showed support, or Donald Trump showed support because she was a Republican, stock surged another 24%. So, I mean, like the business metric side of all of this is like incredible. But then, of course, there's a lot of controversy that surrounds this. So the actual controversy is like between the word jeans and jeans, like, so the actual denim versus like biological jeans. The wordplay led some to accuse the brand of unintentionally nodding to eugenics, the now debunked idea of selective breeding of ideal human traits. Others saw it as a harmless pun. Either way, everyone's talking about it. But on Friday, they issued a statement, and which read, that campaign is and always was about jeans, her story. We'll continue to celebrate how everyone wears their American Eagle jeans with confidence their way. What do you think? Was it a mistake or marketing brilliance?
I think it's a mistake, to be honest with you. I think there's a lot of stuff that's charged in this whole thing, like politically charged.
100%.
I mean. And not because I'm not saying they did it intentionally to be politically charged. Maybe they did. Who knows? But that's a brand that historically has been going after, let's call them teens, 15 to 35-year-old demo, maybe something, maybe even a little bit younger.
Totally.
And they've done stuff like this, like sensationalize the models that they have had for a long, long time. So that part's not out of their
wheelhouse.
The part around the jeans, the timing of that with, what's been going on in DEI and all that kind of thing, I think that is where they made a mistake. They have some serious problems looking at their market share, or their stock price, I should say.
Totally.
They had a bump of 20% or whatever the number was that you had said. I looked at it last week, and that 20% bump went down. But when you look at it over a 4 or 5 year period, it's brutal. Like they're hemorrhaging market value. So to me, this campaign isn't helping that by alienating other buyers. And I think it's just really it's a breakthrough kind of moment, I would suspect. But do you want that? Don't you just want to focus on selling jeans?
I mean, you're not wrong. And even Alan Adamson put, if you try to follow the rules, you'll make lots of people happy, but you'll fail. The rocket won't take off. So there's a flip side to this. Like, this controversy is maybe adding a little bit more sales back into what they need at the end of the day, the bottom line, right? And like, we know it's a brand that was suffering as well.
Here's my thing on it. Like, okay, would you make this the campaign? Would you build a platform off of this for years?
Probably not.
Right?
This is a one-off. Yeah, it's a one-off.
It's like the Pepsi campaign with one of the Kardashians, which was horrific for Pepsi.
Yeah, fair point. That's a good point.
I think it was around Black Lives Matter. They turned that and like commercialized Black Lives Matter somehow. Like, but if you're not willing to go in on this for a bunch of years, then I get the idea of breakthrough, and there's some amount. I just
this probably fails on the marketing effectiveness pendulum, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to have breakthrough that doesn't like mean that you are going to get so much. It's not even the negative response. It's more just like.
Sorry, I'm laughing, but it's a tough one and I'm using air quotes here. It's a tough one because it does touch a lot of different points, and because there is that backlash. Obviously, it struck chords in areas that you probably don't want advertising to spend too much time in. We'll see. We'll see as this continues to evolve and see. Does AE come out of this? I don't know, better than they did going into it. I don't know.
Who knows?
Anyways, okay, I think we gave it enough airtime. We gotta let's keep it moving. The marketing moment.
So speaking of
Mark Binkley.
Speaking of interesting conversations and shouldn't we? Okay, so Tom Goodwin put up this post on the Drum, saying we've forgotten how to market. So how should we?
I saw this. Yeah.
So how should today's playbook look? And he was on the Uncensored CMO, and he I haven't actually listened to the episode yet, so I'm dying to hear it. But he was talking about he had a bad day, and he kind of precursed it by saying, I had a rant. I was mad and I was angry. I had too much coffee. But he went on, and this is a follow-up to that. So his take on it is, which I think is interesting for a marketing moment, like to take a pause, and it's almost a public service announcement in a way to marketers. So his point on this is that no other industry has declined so badly in the past 20 years, has had so much fraud and so many lies, and as much genuine intellectual flimsiness as marketing. And marketing should be driving innovation, growth, and understanding. Instead, it's become tactical, short-term, and aimless. So his argument is in the past 20 years, we've replaced things like real knowledge of marketing discipline. We've talked a few times, I think about Marketing Land. There's that graphic, which is an amazing graphic, which is largely based off of Mark Ritson's marketing course. So start, proper marketing starts with market orientation, which is market research. Then you move into strategy, which includes segmentation, targeting, positioning. Then you move into tactical execution, which is the 4 Ps. And so bad marketers start at just promotion. Good marketers start at market orientation. And I think that it's a really good framework. It's an amazing framework. So he's saying, that's sort of old playbook. Do that. And so instead, what we've done over the last 20 years, we've gotten rid of all that. And then we focused on buzzwords and like starting with why and A/B tests and a whole bunch of vanity metrics, because the data platforms we have are puking data. We're making using ROAS and data-driven decisions to inform everything we do, even when they're totally irrelevant. And we optimize against things that don't matter, like CTR and 101. And ignore things that do matter, like whether a human ever even sees an ad and whether they ever remember it.
Yeah.
So at that point, he moves into this other part of the article, which is, here's 6 ways. We've lost our way, is his argument. There's 6 ways
to get out,
to find our way back. So one is learn the old playbook. And so that's that Marketing Land image. Yep. You Google it, Marketing Land. There'll be an image that will show up that talks about those stages we just talked about with that were based off of Mark Ritson's course. And then 99% of all the rules are the same and absolutely vital.
Totally.
So number 2 then is, once you learn that, then number 2 is learn the new playbook. Like learn all things that we can do with the tools, like retargeting, lookalikes, retail media, attribution, all that stuff. Understand it. And then 3 is know what you actually want to do and establish your personal criteria for success. Rather than just, I think, instead of just being guided by the dashboards, have a clear understanding of what you're trying to achieve so you can be a bit more selective. And then number 4 is when you're using all that stuff, the new playbook, the old playbook, and having a criteria for success, then blend those things together, the old and the new. And keep in mind that new marketing playbook was based on a complete lack of understanding about how advertising works. And then number 5 is get excited about the incredible opportunities that new devices and new technology allow. And then number 6 is, I think a lot of it actually sounds a lot like the creating great choices cascade in the pro chart we've talked to Roger Martin about before. So the persuading your board to trust you is number 6, and that is the hardest one. So be prepared to go on the board and say, trust me, this will work. It will work for a really long time. It will work in a large number of ways, and its impact will not be easy to measure, nor will happen immediately or directly. And I think there's an amount of honesty there that's really hard to understand, or to come to grips with, not to understand, but to come to grips with, because all the dashboards there's so many dashboards we have that we are telling us you can measure this in real time.
I couldn't agree more. I think for me, like, obviously what struck me is like, there's no other industry that declined so badly in the past 20 years. I'd love to unpack that a little bit more. I don't, like, if I feel like, say it's harsh, but I understand what he's saying there.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, like Mark Ritson talks about it all the time, is like, I don't remember what this percentage is split, but like most of the people that practice marketing have never been trained in marketing as well, which is also like something that always hurts us and our credibility, especially when you're trying to persuade the board at the end of the day, because everyone could feel like they can lead a marketing team or whatnot.
Yeah.
Like learning the old playbook. I know you and I have done speaking engagements to students and stuff like that. We'll always talk about marketing land, and this is the right way to orientate and think about marketing. Look at all the different places that it actually plays a role in. Because then immediately they realize that you can have different people still operate in marketing, even though they have different skill sets, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Understand the new playbook. Retargeting is changing. Lookalike audiences are changing as well. Understand what do you actually have as a toolkit in your ecosystem will go a long way. And the third point that you had there, know what you actually want to do. For me, it's not only you as a marketer, but the organization as well. Because this is where I think like Roger Martin's frameworks work really well, where, playing to win, defining, the area you want to win in, etc. It goes back to your holistic business strategy. And this is where, as marketers, we have to learn to push back sometimes if some of those areas or those guardrails haven't been defined, and it's too open-ended, because I don't think it actually sets us up for success.
Yeah. Jennifer Real was the other one who wrote. I was just in my head trying to remember her name.
Right.
I agree though. Like, it's also, I think the point about the board is really interesting, and you layer that in with what you just said, V, about being very specific about what you're trying to achieve.
Totally.
It's really, really easy to get, even unknowingly, to veer off course of what you're trying to achieve, because there's so much data to go with. And so you can make all kinds of data-driven decisions. But when you have a conversation, and it doesn't necessarily mean the board, but it could be just management in general, other executives within the organization around what we're trying to achieve, getting clarity on that is actually really helpful, because sometimes it's not as clear as you would like it to be.
Absolutely.
So to start, like, it's not even to say that it's on marketing to decide those things. It's more about like trying to get really clear alignment around the decision-making table, what winning looks like. And then from there, going to the data and the dashboards to try and figure out ways that you can measure that. And it doesn't always mean that you're going to use the dashboards from Google or Facebook or whatever retail media partner or Amazon, whoever. So I just think there's so many things in marketing that can be measured that are really important, but are overlooked because the easy stuff is just populating in front of you all the time.
Totally. Good PSA there, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, Tom.
I love that. Yeah, great job, Tom.
Okay, out of the week.
Jordan's brand musical slam dunk. I'm a big basketball guy. You know this. Yeah. Jordan brand is celebrating 40 years since Michael Jordan wore his first legendary sneakers, with a bold, unexpected twist this time around in a Broadway-style musical. Now, the 2.5-minute ad set is set to Hard Knock Life from the musical Annie. It starts in a black and white on a basketball court, then bursts into vibrant color as NBA and WNBA stars like Trae Young, Luka Doncic, and Nafessa Collier lip sync and perform to this iconic tune. Their creative comes from Wyden and Kennedy, Nike's agency partner since 1982. We both know how important that is, making this not just a celebration of Jordan's legacy, but also a nod to a 40-year agency relationship. Now, it's a clever mix of nostalgia, culture, and showbiz, raising the question, are sneaker brands now entertainment companies? I don't know. It's a great ad. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it.
I did, yeah. It's awesome. It's fun to watch for sure.
It's awesome. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. I don't know about them being entertainment companies, but entertainment is a way to get people's attention, sure.
Fair.
To sell
That's
more
fair.
sneakers, yeah. But it's fun. Why not?
I mean,
like I'm not a big basketball guy, so I recognize that a lot of them probably are basketball stars.
Yeah.
It was like my wife and I went to the F1 movie on the weekend. She hasn't watched any of the F1 series.
Okay.
So she was like, who are these people? Like, why do they keep popping?
Who are they? Why are they here?
But like, if you're into it, you know. And so I get the same thing with that, with this ad. Like, if you're into it, you know who all these people are.
Totally. Couldn't agree more. All right. Coming up next week, what's on the docket there, Mark?
We've got Steve Phillips, founder and CIO of Zappy, which is an AI-powered insights platform that helps brands like ones you might have heard of, something like Pepsi or Mars, and maybe you heard of McDonald's if you haven't heard the other two. So it's a really cool platform that helps improve creative effectiveness and develop better ads, generally speaking, but also can be applied for just general use of creative insight or customer insights. So he's on. We've got 2 more episodes, I think, from a can that we had recorded. So Steve's one, and then we've got another one coming up the week after. Yeah. So it was great. He's really an interesting guy. Short interview, but really interesting.
Yeah, really, really interesting tech. That's for sure. And I think people will be quite intrigued, especially after our conversation with him. But the fact that Pepsi, Mars, and McDonald's are using this, I mean, it's got to be something there.
Yeah, totally.
Got to be something there. Awesome. And with that, we've come to the end of this edition of our Barbers Brief from sunny Greece.
Yeah, is it still 400 degrees over there?
No. It's like 32 to 35 right now. It's way, way better. Way better. Yeah.
Well, you'd be surprised to know that Calgary's still raining.
I've heard, my friend.
We had a nice day, and then all of a sudden, it was this one. And then it went back to rain.
Perfect. I've seen through camera, my lawn looks great. So that's good.
It's turning to subtropical climate.
Totally. All right, my friend.
All right. Well, enjoy Greece.
Will do. We'll be back soon anyways. And thanks for keeping us your ears, everyone.